so let's do another video, but this time I'm not using my Yeti mic because I realized on the bottom of it that the Yeti mic is broken, the little outlet down there. I bought a new mic for it, or a new mic cord that was like 10 bucks, and I tried it with the new mic because I was using my PS3 charger connector cord, which is the same outlet as it would be for a Yeti mic, and that didn't work, and I was thinking maybe it's because it's old. But then I got a new Yeti mic, cable replacement, and then it didn't work in that one either. So I guess I'm just shit out of luck with the Yeti mic being broken. So I'm just gonna do a recording this way for right now. So today let's talk about Wonder Woman 1984, and this came out on Christmas Day on HBO Max and in theaters. And I was really anticipating this, and I'm glad it's finally here because, like a lot of you guys, there's a lot of stuff I want to see that's just sitting on the back burner that we're waiting for and waiting for and waiting for. And I'm really just wondering when we're going to get a lot of our stuff, a lot of these movies that have already been made. So I was glad to finally see Wonder Woman 1984 came out. And I'm glad to have because I'm a fan of blockbuster movies, action movies, like Marvel movies and Star Wars and stuff. And I haven't seen like a blockbuster movie in a while. Like there hasn't been a big one, so it's cool to see that they did that and released it on HBO Max. It's really awesome because I've just been waiting a while. And Wonder Woman, the original, the one from 2017, the first movie for Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, her first solo outing in the DC Cinematic Universe, or whatever they're calling it now. I really dug the first Wonder Woman. I thought it was one of the best DC movies, especially after its track record with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, and then Wonder Woman. And I was like, looking at that way, Wonder Woman was easily the best out of all of them. Even though I like Suicide Squad for being trashy fun, and Batman v Superman, there are things that I like visually about that movie. Zack Snyder is a very good visual director, but he's not very good on character or writing or anything. But visually, Batman v Superman is really cool. And Man of Steel I just thought was boring and dull all around. And so the bar was pretty low when Wonder Woman in 2017 came out 3 years ago. So I was really glad because I really loved the first Wonder Woman. I thought it was the best of the DCU. I still think it's the best. And Wonder Woman 1984, I have been anticipating because I was really, like I said, because I love the first one, I was really excited. And flat out, I'm just going to say, this movie was a letdown. I'm actually really sad that I didn't feel that fulfilled with this movie. To me, I'll get into the basic story. The basic story of this is Diana is in the 80s now, 1984. There's a guy named Maxwell Lords who finds this wishing stone thing. So it's like Wishmaster, except if you can make like everybody have a wish anytime. And Pedro Pascal plays him, and he's great in the movie. And then you've got her dealing with that, and then you've also got Kristen Wiig's character Barbara, who later becomes Cheetah, and that's not a spoiler because she's in the trailer. But this nerdy, like Electro, Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Edward Nygma from Batman Forever, like the nerdy character that has the glasses so they look like a nerd, and then they become the person who's very outgoing and confident and wants the world to see who they are. And it's just those characters again. It's just a trope again. So Wonder Woman is battling both of them while Steve Trevor inadvertently is just there in the movie. And watching the trailer, I didn't know what was going on. Why is Steve Trevor in this movie? Because if you've seen Wonder Woman 2017, you know that he dies at the end of the movie. And this is going to be a spoiler for your review too, I'd say. But how he's brought into this movie is weird. Like, their chemistry is good like the last movie, but I think that the movie has a lot going for it. Like, in terms of, like, it's got a lot that's going on in the movie. Like, it's got a lot of characters. It's got two villains. It's got Steve Trevor as well. And whenever Steve Trevor is introduced, it's kind of like we have to have Chris Pine back in this because they were so good together in the first one. But logically, does it make sense? And it does in this story. Like, in this movie, it does make sense, but I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, honestly, at the end of the movie with this character, it's like I didn't really feel much like I did the first one. Like, it didn't work as well. Their chemistry is still fine, but it's a weird way to bring back his character. And I will say nothing more. You'll have to watch the movie and just be like, what? Like, that's very weird. And the movie, it's so strange because Patty Jenkins, the movies that I've seen her do, I think she only directed 3 movies, Monster and both the Wonder Woman movies. I think that's all she's directed. Monster's fantastic. Wonder Woman 2017 is fantastic. And then this one is a real dud. It's sad to say because I really, really liked her other 2 movies that I've seen. She's still, like, the directing is still fine here, but it's not a movie that leaves much of an impression on you, or at least for me. And I feel like I'm not the only one, because I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where, like, people are saying this movie is just underwhelming. And it's really, really unfortunate, because coming off of a sequel to a movie that was beloved for the most part by everybody, I love the movie. I've heard complaints, but even the complaints from that, I still enjoy the movie. I still think the first Wonder Woman is awesome. But looking at this one, it's so forgettable. Like, there's not much. Like, besides the basic things that the first Wonder Woman movie had, the acting is good like the first one. The action is good like the first one. Besides that, the story is just kind of whatever, because there's a lot of things going on. And I'm fine with some movies being convoluted, even if they don't technically work great as a film. Like, for example, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that's a movie I love. I love that movie, and I can see every single argument people give me, and I give them all those arguments. Like, they can have the arguments, I get it. I just like it as an entertaining movie, like, and so I'm not saying that I don't like convoluted superhero movies, because, yeah, that one I really love, but this just didn't have that much that was interesting to it. Like, I felt like it was in the 80s, but I felt like it didn't really add anything to it. Like, really, like, I just felt like it was a movie that I watched that said it was in the 80s, and occasionally they would show references to 80s. Not much, every once in a while. And it wasn't annoying like, say, Stranger Things was, but it really didn't leave an impression either. Like, it just felt like it could be any time period, honestly. It really could have. There wasn't, like, they did have the Cold War thing in the movie, and they did connect that, but it could have been any war, honestly. It could have just been anything like that. So, it's weird that this movie just, to me, kind of just fails in being interesting. Like, it's not an interesting movie at all. And like I said, the acting's good. Gal Gadot is great as well, as usual. Chris Pine is good. Pedro Pascal is really good. Like, I like him as a villain. Kristen Wiig, I do like a lot as an actress, and I like her in her comedic stuff. But in this movie, it's like, again, she's got the dorky Edward Nygma, Electro type of thing, where, like, she is a dork and she can't walk in heels, and then she gains this ability, and then she can walk in heels, and then she can talk normal and not wear glasses and look like a dork. That's her story, and she becomes the cheetah. And they have, like, a tiny fight, and that's pretty much it. And that's not much of a spoiler. You know they fight in the movie, you see it in the trailer. But that's it. Like, there's really not much else to her character, and I really do like Kristen Wiig. She's really, really funny. I think she's great in a lot of movies, but it's just... And it's not like she couldn't pull off something serious, because she has, but I just think that she didn't do anything for me in the movie. Pedro Pascal, definitely. She didn't do much for me. Like, it's not her, it's just the character is just pretty bland. Like, Pedro Pascal, at least his character can be over the top, and she can be a little bit too, but not in the same way, not where it's memorable, because he was more memorable to me, way more memorable. And it's weird because people have complained about this, that Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is not in the movie as much in the movie called Wonder Woman 1984, and I could see that definitely. I kind of am forgetting much of her in the movie. I know she's in it, of course, but a movie called Wonder Woman, she's not completely in the movie all the time. But I know you have to build up these villains. But I don't know, the movie just to me was pretty forgettable and pretty boring. Like I usually, with these kind of blockbuster movies, I can enjoy them for what they are if they're fun. But this one just, to me, was so, again, so uninteresting, because besides Pedro Pascal, who's good, but his character's still kind of whatever. Like, I liked his performance, and Cheetah's whatever, like, Barbara's whatever, too. Like, and Wonder Woman having the same kind of thing she did with Steve Trevor in the last movie, but not as great. It's all these storylines kind of, they do the opposite Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me, where the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Sony screwed that movie up so bad, where they put in so many different things just to show this is a new universe we're establishing and we're going to compete with Marvel, and then we're not going to make another movie after that with those set of characters in that version of Spider-Man. Even though I know there are rumors that they're going to have them in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man, which would be awesome. But my point is that Sony screwed up in making it so convoluted. But honestly, I felt like it made it more memorable, whether you think it's a good movie or not. I was way more interested in that movie being a convoluted mess than this one. And I love that movie for that reason. And that movie just has a lot of heart to it. Like, regardless of all the problems in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, it has a lot of heart to it. And I really, really like that a lot. And all the problems that people give, I understand. Definitely. But this movie is the opposite effect of that, where it's convoluted, not as bad, but it's just boring. Like, it's not that interesting. And the first Wonder Woman was never boring. I really, really enjoyed that one. I thought it was a breath of fresh air, especially for the DC EU, where, like, they were failing, basically, with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, where those movies were mixed reception, fans hated them, and then Suicide Squad it made a lot of money, but then critics hated it. It was just a trashy movie, but I enjoy it. But it's like you had these set of films that were not doing that great, and then Wonder Woman brought in this new wave of how they're going to make DC look now, the DCEU. And that first one is just so great and so memorable and so everything about it. I've seen it a lot. I really do love the first Wonder Woman. And this one, it's so sad to say, but I will not really rewatch this one much. I have a feeling I'm going to buy it whenever it comes out physically, but it's not going to be one I'm going to watch much. It's going to be one where I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to do a marathon with Wonder Woman or the DCEU. So it's one that I'm going to have to watch. And if you're talking about two DC movies that came out this year, two DCEU movies, Birds of Prey I think was way better. I really enjoyed Birds of Prey, and it's sad that movie just fell into a pit of, like, the thing going on in the world that has closed theaters, and the fact that it was called Birds of Prey, so a lot of people are like, what does that even mean? I don't know what that means. I didn't know what Birds of Prey was until I saw that movie. I didn't read the comics for that. I just knew Harley Quinn was in it, and I liked her in Suicide Squad. So that one I thought was really good. I really liked Birds of Prey. I thought it was a really fun movie, and I thought it was enjoyable. And that had some problems too, but definitely not as much as this. Like, I really liked that one way better. And it's just way more interesting, way more funny characters, way more memorable things about it. Even though you could say that movie's not super memorable regardless, but I enjoyed Birds of Prey way more. Yeah, this one, just for me, middle of the road on Letterboxd. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. It's nothing special. A few things that are all right, but it's just really forgettable. But stay behind for the credits, because there was a cool little thing at the end credits. I thought that was cool. I like that. I thought that was awesome. So, but overall, the movie is just whatever. It's not anything special, in my opinion. So that is it for Wonder Woman 1984. Stay tuned, and I'm going to review Pixar's Soul as well, which just came out today as well on Disney+. So thank you guys for watching.